fine. All right, so here's my lab. Okay, here's why I got my lab. Okay, so the first thing you need to do is breed 2 white. You have to start with seeds, by the way. You can't just start with any random flower like these. You can't start with random flowers. You have to start specifically from seeded flowers for this to work, okay? So you need to breed 2 white roses together to get a purple rose, and that's only a 25% chance. And then you breed that purple one with a seeded yellow to get a white, which is a 100% chance. Now, these whites are different than those whites, okay? Now this is crazy. Because now you need to take 2 of the purples that you got from this last step, and you need to get a different white, which is different from the white that you got here, okay? And then you need to use those whites later, okay? Now, then you take 2 seed reds, which is here, and that's how you get a black, which is 25% chance. And then you need to take the second white that you got here, and you need to use that one with the black to get a red, which is different than these reds, okay? And then you need to take that red and breed it with the same secondary white that you got last time, and then that's how you get a... what do you get? What do you get? You get an orange rose, okay? Specifically, it's a specific type of orange rose. It's not these orange roses over here, okay? And then with those orange roses, you can breed them back with the secondary type of white to get another type of red that's different than this red and this red, okay? And then with that red, you can breed 2 of those specific reds together. The third red that you get, 2 of those reds together, gives you a blue. 25% chance, though, to get that blue. And that's how you get blue roses. Only 9 steps. Pretty easy, right? So, all jokes aside, what I just said is technically actually how you get blue roses in this game. I had no idea it would be this insane, but I want to break it down for you all to make it a lot easier, because I'm sure some of you are actually interested in getting blue roses, and it's not as complicated as you might think. Now, this even probably looks a bit complicated. So someone by the name of Aeter, I believe that's how you pronounce it, A-E-T-E-R, data mined Animal Crossing New Horizons to get this information, and I very much appreciate it, because before we thought that it was literally just combine a seed with a seed to get a specific color, then combine that color with another color to get another color, and that's just not how simple it is. So with this new actual code, what is coded into the game of Animal Crossing, we're able to find out how to get the legendary blue rose. So I'm going to explain it here as simple as possible, because the guide that is out right now is a text document, which looks a little bit complicated, but it's not as complicated as you think. So I put it into pictures. So essentially where you start out with is simply, you need all 3 of the seeds. So you need they have to come from seeds. It's very important for this guide to work. So you need the seed white, you need the seed yellow, and you need the seed red as well. With this guide, I actually should mention, you should preferably do this with a 1x1 farming method, meaning you put 1 flower next to 1 flower. I wouldn't put many flowers next to many flowers unless they're all the same. Like if you put 2 seed whites, you could do like 10 seed whites next to 10 seed whites, just to try and maximize the chance of getting this purple. Starting off, you essentially want to just combine 2 seed whites to get a purple. Now, what this represents, this 25% chance here, this represents the idea that you can get a purple from it. So otherwise, there's a 75% chance that you're just going to get a regular white, which is the 2 things that came before. So like if you look at the bottom one here, if you combine the purple here with the yellow seed, the 100% represents that you're only ever going to get a white. You're not going to get a yellow, you're not going to get a purple from it. And like on this third step, if you combine this white with this purple, there's a 50% chance that you're going to get a different purple, and we'll get into that later, why that's important, that it's a different purple than this purple. But getting back into it, the first step that you want to make sure you have is just 2 seed whites, combine 2 of those, and they have a 25% chance to get a purple rose. And then you combine that purple rose with a seeded yellow, and that gives you a white. That's a 100% chance to give you the correct white, and this is a different white. Notice the one next to the picture. This is a different white than the seeded whites you have, so do not mix these whites up. Make sure that you keep them isolated. Then you take this white that you got from the purple and the seed yellow, and you put that next to the same purple that you got from the first step, okay? That same purple. And that will give you a different purple. Okay, this is where it gets tricky. This is where it gets complicated. This is why I made this little guide down here. So this is an optional way to find out if you have the correct purple. You need this purple with the 1 next to it, okay? You will not be able to tell, I probably should mention this. You will not be able to tell if your flowers are different. So if I have a white with, I just represent it by these pictures. I have a white with a 1 next to it. That will not be represented in the game. It will just look like a regular white rose. In your inventory, it'll just say regular white rose. It does not help you at all. So that's why you need to make sure that you understand which flowers are different, and you need to isolate them and keep them apart. So you combine any purples that you get from this 3rd step here, combine any of those purples with a seeded yellow, and if it is the correct purple, there's a 50% chance that you'll get a yellow, okay? Otherwise, if it's the incorrect purple, you will only get a white, okay? You'll only get whites. You're never going to get a yellow from the incorrect purple. And how you test this, because in Animal Crossing New Horizons, flowers can duplicate themselves, which means that, like, let's say you plant a flower and you water it, it has a chance of just creating that same exact flower, okay? So in order to prevent this, to test this thing, you have to go like, you have to make a breeding platform that looks like this. So I have it represented here. So if you imagine the 3x3 squares, and you put a purple next to the seed white like you do here, okay? It could be either one of the purples. And you fence off all of the spots whereby this thing can the seed yellow can duplicate itself, and you water those 2 flowers, it can only go over here, and it won't be a duplication if you make a yellow. Okay, as far as I understand. This is the part where I'm not 100% positive, but that's as far as I understand it. I believe that is how it works. So that is how you test, to make sure that you have the purple rose with the 1 next to it, essentially. So once you have this purple rose with the 1 next to it, essentially, a different breed of purple rose, you want to combine 2 of those to get a different breed of white rose. So this is a white rose that's different from the initial steps over here. It has a 2 next to it. It's different than that. So you want to make sure you keep that apart. And you're going to want to save these, and you're going to want a couple of these because they're pretty important. Now remember, you can duplicate flowers by watering it, and it'll actually duplicate the flower. So if you put this by itself, you water it, and it makes another one, it'll be that same flower. So that's another way to get multiple of these roses as well. Then, now this is where the red seeds come in. So if you take 2 red seeds and you combine them together, you have a chance of getting a black rose. Okay, this is a regular black rose. And then you combine that black rose with the white rose that you got from the initial step, and that gives you a red rose, 100% chance. So when you get that red rose, it's a different red rose than the seeded red roses. You want to combine that again with the same white that you got from that initial step, the white with the 2, to get an orange rose. Okay, this is the first orange rose that you got. Nice. Okay, now once you have that orange rose, you want to combine that orange rose with that white again, the same white that you got from the initial step, all the way up here. That's the 2 purples. That's why I said you want quite a few of those, just to help you out. That gives you a different red, and that's only a 25% chance to get that different red. It's a different red from the initial red. And this red is the red that you want. You want as many of these as you can possibly get. As you can see over here on the right, 2 of those reds together gives you a 25% chance to get blue roses every single day. So essentially you want to just put 1 million of those reds next to each other to try and get as many blue roses as possible. Now, some of you might have noticed in the middle here I have this optional path. So this is another way that you can get blue roses that's a lot harder. So from this step where you have the white rose, the red rose, with the 1 next to it, if you combine 2 of those next to each other, you technically have a 1.5625% chance, which is 1 in 64, to get a blue rose. Now, I wouldn't even do that. I would just use those red roses with the white roses to get the orange roses. And then with 2 of those orange roses, you have a 6.2% chance to get a blue rose, which is another possibility. But that's a lot less percent chance than just getting the 25% chance. So I wouldn't really go for this optional route here in the middle. I would just go for the route that you have here. So I wanted to make this guide because I wanted to add pictures to it. I wanted to make it look a little bit more easy to understand. It still looks pretty complicated, I know, but I'm gonna put a download link to this picture in the description. You can download it if you want and keep it and reference it and whatnot, and also obviously reference this video. Great appreciation goes to Ader for getting this information and putting it in a text document for us. The text document was a little bit complicated, so that's why I wanted to kind of, I don't know, dumb it down just so it's easier to understand, you know what I mean? Because it's not that hard. Now, the thing, there's like no other flower in the game that's this complicated. This is the most complicated flower to get in the game. So the other ones, essentially you can kind of just fluke it and put them all next to each other and get most of the colors. But for blue roses specifically, you can't really fluke it. It has to be pretty consistent. So that's why I wanted to make this guide, and I hope you enjoyed it. I hope it helps you. I hope you get blue roses. It takes, obviously, every single day you have to water these flowers and you have to wait. So it's probably gonna take like a month, not like legit 1 month to get a blue rose, like on average. So I'm just starting my path. I hope I can get them in the future. And if this guide helped you out, please drop a like, subscribe for more content. I hope to see you in my live streams and stuff that I do daily. And have a great day, everybody. I'll see you in the next one. Peace out.